Hey, what's up, guys? How are you all doing today? It's me, your boy Orban Cast aka Vinesh, back here with another brand new video, and I hope you guys are having a great day. So, right now, we are on our winter break on the F1 season calendar, and soon we will be back with racing as the teams have already started to announce their 2023 car reveal date. And I think this is the right time to make this video, and we are going to talk about whether we will be having the most expected thing, which is a three-way battle for the championship for the 2023 season of Formula 1. Well, I kind of expected this to happen in the 2022 season itself, as I didn't expect both Ferrari and Mercedes to mess up as much as they have last season, because I feel like Mercedes has been a team which has always nailed the regulations since the new turbo hybrid era, and Ferrari had seemed to have got their car right with the first 2 or 3 races of the season, and it seemed like they're going to give Red Bull the tough fight. But Ferrari started to fall apart mid-season with their strategy and poor reliability, and Mercedes, with their new concept of zero side pod design, seem to be really struggling to get themselves up to grips with the new regulation, especially with the porpoising issue. But it seemed like Mercedes reeled back the performance deficit that they had at the start of the 2022 season to both Red Bull and Ferrari at the end of the 2022 season, and it seemed like they were starting to get themselves up to grips with the new concept that they were running for the 2022 season regulation. So, the big question is, will Mercedes and Ferrari strike back at Red Bull, who are trying to defend both their Constructors and Drivers' Championship of the 2022 season? Well, I think they sure will try to strike back at Red Bull, and it's not going to be as easy as it was in the 2022 season for Red Bull, as I think both Mercedes and Ferrari have a very strong driver lineup, with Mercedes having George Russell and Lewis Hamilton as their driving lineup, who are really bulletproof and consistent with their performance. And not to mention, both the drivers have incredible one lap and a long race pace, which is going to come in clutch for Mercedes. And in terms of strategy, I feel like Mercedes has always been a team which has been very good with their strategy and have made very few to none mistakes over their championship winning years. The only question that really boils down to whether Mercedes will be able to strike back at Red Bull and fight for the championship in the 2023 season will be whether Mercedes can bring a car which can fight for championship, and whether they can get on top of their zero side pod design, or to just ditch the new side pod design and go with the conventional side pod design setup and build a very competitive car for the 2023 season and fight for the championship, as Mercedes is one of the team which knows how to do that the best. So now moving on to Ferrari, and just like Mercedes, Ferrari has a very strong driver lineup, with the car being in the hands of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. We've seen incredible one lap pace from Charles Leclerc in the 2022 season with the F175 car. But again, the problem with the 2022 season's Ferrari championship campaign was the poor reliability of the car, which started mid-season, and the poor strategical calls that Ferrari was making pretty much after the first 5 races. I see very rare mistakes from Charles Leclerc, but he is not bulletproof. He is prone to mistakes, like for instance the Imola Grand Prix, where he spun at the dying stages of the race, losing a podium position, going all the way down to P6, or whether it be the French Grand Prix, where he was comfortably leading the race before crashing out. And when we talk about Charles Leclerc's teammate Carlos Sainz, he seemed to have a tough time getting up to grips with the new 2022 regulation of cars at the start of the 2022 season, and as the season went on, Carlos Sainz showed some great progress throughout the season and closing his gap up to his teammate and starting to challenge Charles Leclerc both on a quali and on a race day. But still, there was some inconsistency in Carlos Sainz, whether it be his first win in Silverstone in the 2022 season. He won the race, yes, but the strategy did favor Carlos Sainz at the end, when Ferrari for some reason decided to pit Carlos Sainz under the safety car of Esteban Ocon instead of Charles Leclerc, who was the championship favorite, which would have gained Charles Leclerc a handful of points that weekend. And let's not also forget the fact that Carlos Sainz made a handful of mistakes, whether it be the first start of the race or it be running wide and giving up the place to Max Verstappen. And let's not also forget the fact that if Max Verstappen did not suffer an underbody damage midway through the race after gaining the race lead, Max would have clearly won the Silverstone Grand Prix in the 2022 season. So there is a lot of mistakes and errors that both the drivers in Ferrari needs to fix in the 2023 season and make sure they don't commit the same mistakes. And it is clear that both the drivers at Ferrari are immensely capable of winning championship and races. There is no doubt in it, but the problem is that both the drivers are still hot-headed and can make errors under pressure, which they really need to fix before they get into the 2023 season to make sure they don't do the same mistake in the 2023 season and moving forward, to make the team's driver lineup one of the most bulletproof driver pairing. Well, in terms of strategy, we did see that in terms of management, Ferrari did replace their team principal, where we did see Mattia Binotto, who was the team principal of Ferrari since 2019 to 2022, who decided to leave the team at the end of the year, and Frederic Vasseur, who was the team principal of Sauber Alfa Romeo, moved up to the Scuderia Ferrari to become the new team principal for the 2023 season and beyond. Well, it's nothing new for us to see Ferrari going through team principals, as they have gone through 4 different team principals and Frederic Vasseur to be the 5th team principal just in the turbo hybrid era of Formula 1 for Ferrari. But the question is, replacing Mattia Binotto with Frederic Vasseur, is it the solution for Ferrari's championship winning drought? Will Frederic Vasseur be able to bring Ferrari back up to the top? Will he be able to steer the team in the right direction? Will he be able to lead the team to a championship? That's the bigger question, for which we will get an answer only by the 2024 or 2025 season, as the 2023 season's Ferrari car would have been built under the guidance of Mattia Binotto. And we'll only get to see the results of hiring Frederic Vasseur as the team principal for Ferrari at the 2024 or 2025 season's championship campaign. And as far as to defending the championship goes for the Red Bull Racing team, I have no doubts in Red Bull Racing, as they have proven again as they are one of the most bulletproof teams in terms of strategy and fixing the reliability issue that they suffered at the start of the season. The only issue that I'm probably seeing with the Red Bull Racing team in terms of defending their Constructors' Championship, as amazing of a driver lineup Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez is, the problem that I'm seeing with this driver pairing is the gap between both the drivers. As we've seen, when the car is comfortable for Sergio Perez, he's really close with Max Verstappen and sometimes even outperforming Max. Once Sergio Perez doesn't feel comfortable with the car, there's a huge gap deficit between both the drivers, almost up to 5 tenths, and that 5 tenths can easily be the gap where both Mercedes and Ferrari drivers can fill in. And Max right now is in a form of his life, I feel like, and he's been really dominant, and I don't see it coming down anytime soon. So the problem that I have with the driver pairing is not with Max really, but it is with Sergio Perez. He really needs to up his game in the 2023 season for really him to see himself in the team. I love Sergio Perez. He's one of the most strong and consistent drivers in the midfield. But the problem is, when you get yourself in one of the top teams, you really need to close your gap to the number 1 driver of the team, which, as much as I would not want to brand Sergio Perez as the number 2 driver of Red Bull, from the performance at least at the second half of the 2022 season, it certainly shows who is the clear number 1 for the team and who the team is going to take inputs from in terms of development of the car. In that case, Sergio really needs to close his gap to Max for him to find any ground within the team and have any say in terms of development of the car. And I really hope Sergio does do that in the 2023 season, and we really get to see a 6-way battle for the Drivers' Championship and a 3-way battle for the Constructors. Another thing which is going to throw a hammer in the works for Red Bull Racing team for the 2023 season is that they finished first in the Constructors' Championship in the 2022 season, which means they're going to get the least amount of CFD and wind tunnel time. And with that CFD and wind tunnel time further being reduced due to the penalty that they have to suffer for breaching the cost cap regulation, and that's going to make the Formula 1's 2023 season that much more interesting in terms of the championship fight, and see how Red Bull is going to work around all these obstacles to defend both their championship, and see what both Mercedes and Ferrari is going to bring in for the fight for the 2023 season championship title. So yeah, and I'm just as excited as you guys are for the 2023 season. I'm eagerly waiting as we are getting closer and closer to my most favorite time of the season, which is the car reveal. This is one of my most favorite time of the season, as we're all going to get a glimpse of what the next year's car is going to look like very soon. So yeah, I'm just as excited as you guys are to see what the 2023 season of Formula 1 has on offer in terms of the championship fight, and to see which team ends up being the best of the rest in the 2023 season. Will it be Alpine? Will they make the step up, especially with their new driver lineup? Will it be McLaren with their new driver lineup? Or will it be Aston Martin? I'm excited to see all of this and how it all transpires in the 2023 season. And yeah, with that being said guys, I would like to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to the Autobahncaster YouTube channel if you haven't already. And also make sure to hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. It's me your boy Autobahncaster aka Vinesh, and I'm out. Love you guys, stay safe, peace.